People always have high expectations for geniuses, and that also applies to our protagonist. Looking at our protagonist, a girl told her friend, "He's the genius of their college." She heard he mastered all the advanced spy programs of every profession, and he looks pretty good too. Today, he'll definitely switch to a powerful job class. Her friend also agrees with her, saying, "Of course he will. Someone like him will definitely awaken a powerful job class. And when that happens, she will confess her feelings to him." Well, before we continue, you guys should know the backstory of this world. 100 years ago, the world was invaded by games. All sorts of monsters appeared, and people began awakening skills. The fate facing humanity is one by one. Switch stations, fight monsters, level up, or else there is only death. And geniuses always attract attention at such times. Their abilities determine the fate of humanity. And today is Job Class Transfer Day. Our protagonist is very happy that finally, the moment has arrived. His name is Jiang Li. 18 years ago, he crossed over to this world. With exceptional talent, he has been tirelessly learning various abilities. He has only one goal, to become the absolute strongest. He's status that 4 classes are suitable for him. In warrior combat skills, he is excellent. In mage combat skills, he is excellent. In assassin combat skills, he is excellent. And in advanced combat skills, he is excellent. Everyone is expecting that such excellent talent is sure to awaken a hidden job class. Well, jobs are divided into basic jobs, advanced jobs, and hidden jobs. The strength of jobs and the difficulty of awakening increase in sequence, especially for hidden jobs. It's like finding a needle in a haystack, awakening to obtain overwhelming power. The principal of his school tells everyone that Jiang Li's future is boundless. Of course, being too outstanding will always attract jealousy and dissatisfaction from some people. When Jiang Li was going into the awakening grounds, he was stopped by his bully classmates. They called Jiang Li a highly anticipated genius. The leader of those bully classmates is Yan Shu. Looking down on Jiang Li, Yan Shu asks him what advanced job class he is planning to awaken today. Yan Shu is from the Golden Domain, one of the 3 geniuses of their Golden Domain Academy. His father is a powerful Golden Class practitioner. But everywhere on campus, Jiang Li is always one step ahead. Jiang Li doesn't want to associate with him. He told Yan Shu that he just doesn't know what to awaken and started walking away. But Yan Shu stopped him. He put his hand on Jiang Li's shoulder and told him to stop showing off, or he might awaken a garbage job class. He laughed and told Jiang Li not to blame them for not giving him face when that happens. Jiang Li got angry and told Yan Shu to let go of him. Hearing that, Yan Shu also got a little angry. But when he saw Jiang Li's blue glowing eyes looking at him very angrily, he got a little scared and removed his hand. Well, Jiang Li also knows today he will definitely be the center of attention. And if his awakening fails, it would be truly embarrassing because once a genius fails, they become a laughingstock. Then sometime later, students' awakening starts. The first one was Class 1's Zhang Danyu, who awakens and fails first. He was very disappointed, but his teacher told him that even for students awakening to ordinary professions, don't lose heart, keep striving. There's potential in everyone. Then he calls the next student. The next student's awakening was very powerful. The whole ground got covered by bright lights. This student is Li Muwan, and she successfully awakened the advanced job class, Swift Archer. Students of Golden Domain Academy jumped in happiness because it's the genius girl from their Golden Domain Academy. Li Muwan, looking at Jiang Li, smiles as he was clapping for her successful awakening. Suddenly, there's another flash. It's another advanced job class. The one who awakens next was from Class 3, Yan Shu. He successfully awakened as an advanced job class, Flame Mage. Everyone was amazed by it, but Yan Shu was disappointed, saying it's just an advanced class. People start to talk that 2 consecutive advanced classes. Then it means this class is really strong, and there are even stronger ones coming up. Yan Shu comes down from the stage, saying, "Although it's just an advanced job class, it's already super impressive in the eyes of others. A bunch of inexperienced fools." When Yan Shu saw Jiang Li in front, he insulted him, saying, "Jiang Li, don't think your clown-like efforts can change anything. Talent is something you're born with." Jiang Li thought Yan Shu is a moron and didn't reply to him. Well, the next call for the student was Class 4's Jiang Li. He goes to the stage. At the office where all the principals of different academies were watching the awakening, An old principal asks the principal of Golden Domain Academy. Is he Jiang Li? The one with the best grades in your school? He really stands out. The principal didn't say anything and was just looking at Jiang Li. When the awakening started, Jiang Li's body started to glow with blue light. A job class scroll and a talent book came out as he awakened, but that blue light got stronger as time passed. The principal of Golden Domain Academy stood from his seat to see such a commotion happening. He thought, could it be the unique hidden job class? But when that blue light dimmed, Jiang Li's job class appeared. It was a basic job class of Mage. Principals were shocked to see that. The old principal asks the principal of Golden Domain Academy, what's happening? Wasn't he supposed to be the best student? Seeing Jiang Li's job class, Yanshu started to laugh, saying, serves him right, my flame mage is better than that. Everyone around Li Muan started to call Jiang Li a so-called genius fake. They said Li Muan is the real deal and asked her to please take them under her wing. Li Muan was not even paying any attention to them. She was just looking at Jiang Li, all worried. Jiang Li was just standing on the stage, not saying any words. People start to talk that Jiang Li's supposed to be a top student. Yet all he gets is a mage. They had such high hopes for nothing. They all were laughing. One asked others if they saw the principal's expression. It's so embarrassing. Jiang Li was just standing there, thinking that there is no way. Is this all there is to it? But suddenly, a bright screen appeared in front of his eyes. It was a system notification congratulating Jiang Li for awakening a special talent. Skills automatically max level. Jiang Li was surprised to see that special talent. He had never heard of such a thing before. He thought, could there be a connection to his crossing over? Suddenly, another window popped up, showing Jiang Li his skills, but they're not max level. But before he could say anything, suddenly that system screen started to shine very brightly. Jiang Li's 3 skills, Fireball spell, Light Armor spell, and Meditation spell, all 3 of their levels started to rise, and right before Jiang Li's eyes, they all continued to level up. Seeing his level going up so fast, he got a little scared, and at last, all his skills levels leveled up to max levels. Seeing that, Jiang Li was shocked, asking, what's going on here? Jiang Li was surprised because he remembered his teacher, Pu Jing, mentioning that after awakening as a practitioner, each profession comes with 3 level 1 starting skills. After leveling up, the strength and effects undergo a qualitative leap. But leveling up skills is very difficult. Currently, there should still be people who can max out all their skills. Jiang Li laughs, thinking that skills max level turns out to be so simple. He smiles, saying, it seems like fate hasn't abandoned me after all. Skills automatically max level. This is even more awesome than a hidden job class. While all this was happening in Jiang Li's mind, suddenly his principal shakes him to wake up. When Jiang Li opens his eyes, the principal of Golden Domain Academy told him not to be discouraged. Even though it's not a hidden job class, at least he has become a practitioner. His future still holds endless possibilities, and all the teachers believe in him. Well, after getting something like the skill automatic max level talent, there was no way Jiang Li would be sad. With a big smile on his face, he thanks his principal, saying he will continue to work hard. The principal pats his back, telling him to cheer up and go back to the classroom. He thought that Jiang Li is a very good kid, truly commendable. When Jiang Li gets down from the stage, everyone was laughing at him. No one comes to even congratulate him. Well, it was just as Jiang Li expected. Reality can be harsh. Compared to seeing a genius succeed, people prefer watching a genius fail. But Jiang Li is really going to disappoint them all. Then sometime later, at the trial shooting range, everyone was trying out their skills. There Yanshu was also checking his fire magic. He hit a mannequin with his fire magic that simply burned its outer layer. Seeing this, Yanshu's underlings praised him, saying it's impressive. The boss is indeed remarkable. While this was happening, Yanshu saw Jiang Li walking behind. He taunts Jiang Li, calling him an ordinary mage. But when Jiang Li doesn't reply to him, he attacks him with a fire magic, saying, I'm calling you an ordinary mage. Angry, Jiang Li looks back, asking what he wants. Pointing at the mannequins, Yanshu said, come on, let our genius show off his skills. With attitude, Jiang Li told him that they can practice on their own. He doesn't need to practice, he is already skilled. Hearing that, Yanshu and his underlings get angry. Yanshu told Jiang Li to quit the nonsense. Who said anything about practicing? Yanshu is telling him to show off his skills. Does he dare to compete with him, an advanced flame mage? Yan Shu put his finger at Zhang Li's head, calling him a wimp. Hearing that, Zhang Li gets very angry and uses his fireball spell to attack the mannequins behind. Seeing it, Yan Shu laughs, telling him to cut it out. Basic fireball spell. Is he even serious? But when Zhang Li's fireball hit the mannequins behind, there was a huge explosion. Yan Shu was shocked. Looking back, he asked what's going on. That explosion was very huge, and not one but all the mannequins in the trial shooting range completely burned. Yan Shu looks at Zhang Li, saying, "This can't be happening." He asks Zhang Li if he isn't a basic mage. Well, our protagonist didn't reply to him. With style, he walks away from there. The power of this basic level fireball spell is outrageous. Although the power of the fireball at full level is great, but just that last one almost used up half of my mana. Zhang Li arrives at his home. He was thinking all the way home that he has to quickly level up and increase the maximum amount of mana. When Zhang Li enters his house, a voice comes asking how he can come back without saying a word. Well, the one asking that is Zhang's mother, Dan Qingshui. She asks him to come in and quickly wash his hands. It's time to eat. At the dinner table, Zhang Li told his mother that he successfully awakened today. He is a mage now. Hearing it, his mother gets really happy. She told him that mages are great. They use skills from the back row in the team, relatively safer than the front row. She stood from her seat, telling Zhang Li she has something for him. She gives Zhang Li a box, telling him that this is from his father. Back then, he was also a powerful professional. Zhang Li was shocked to find out that his father was a powerful professional. He asks his mother that didn't she tell him before that he had died long before Zhang Li was born. He asks her that since he was a powerful professional, where did he go in the end? Why has he ignored them for so many years? Well, his mother also doesn't know either. She told Zhang Li that his father only said he was going to the edge of the world, saying there are very important matters to attend to. So he left in a hurry. When she saw that Zhang Li is getting angry to hear that, she told him not to blame his father. He promised to make Zhang Li a mage. That's why she has always emphasized Zhang Li's studies in mage skills. His mother starts crying. She said that now that Zhang Li has grown up and become a mage, well, she didn't complete her words. But she is hoping that now that Zhang Li has become a mage, his father could come back to her. She turned around and goes to her room, saying she is tired. She asks Zhang Li to go back to his room and rest first, or he can check the box. Well, looking at the box, Zhang Li felt as if this is going to change his life. When he tries opening that box, a golden light starts coming out of it. Zhang Li was shocked to see it. Inside that box was a job class scroll and a note. It was written on the note that using this scroll can change one's profession to a powerful arcanist. Requirements for profession change are that a mage class profession strength reaches gold level or above. Zhang Li was shocked to find out that it's a profession change scroll. It's a profession change scroll that can change to a special profession. The requirements are to reach the gold level of profession. In this world, professions are clearly divided into normal, iron, bronze, silver, gold, holy domain, and demigod. When one reaches a certain level and meets the corresponding conditions, they can break through to the next rank. Zhang Li was told that his father was one of the top professionals in the gold level, but even he was only at the gold level, so there is no way for him to get this kind of scroll. Now Zhang Li knows that it was all a lie. He doesn't understand what rank his father was who could obtain such a scroll. Holy domain or demigod. If he had such strength, why has there been no news for so many years? Zhang Li puts back the scroll, thinking that for now, he has to find a way to level up and become a gold-level professional. Because in 7 days, the trial for professionals in Jin City will begin. By then, Zhang Li's batch will also participate in the professional trial, so it's good to prepare in advance. Sometimes later at the hunting grounds, a red-haired hunter looking at Zhang Li told another blue-haired hunter that it's another ignorant kid who doesn't know the height of the sky and the thickness of the earth, just awakened and rushing to the wilderness to court death. The other blue-haired hunter said that maybe he has a powerful special profession. The red-haired hunter told him to look closely at how skinny he is. What else could he be besides a mage? Both of them start laughing at Zhang Li. Well, Zhang Li ignores them and continues walking. But when a girl hunter named Vivi saw Zhang Li going along, she stops him. She calls him little brother, saying, "Judging from your aura, you must be a newly awakened student. Do you want to join us?" "Well," she kindly asks him. But her party members don't like it. They told Vivi that they have important matters to attend to this time. How can they bring such a burden with them? It's his own business if he doesn't know his limits. Vivi gets angry at them, asking, why are they all like this? But Jiang Li told her that it's okay. He thanks her for her kindness, but tells her that he will be fine on his own. But before he could go, Vivi stops him, asking to wait a moment. She takes out a bottle of potions, telling Jiang Li that since he doesn't want to team up with them, at least take this, because he is also a mage. He should find it useful later. Jiang Li thanks her and left for the hunting grounds. He goes to the Grey Forest where a level 4 big goblin was roaming around. Jiang Li was hiding behind a tree, and when the big goblin was not looking, he activates his fireball magic and throws it at the goblin. The big goblin noticed the fireball magic, but it was already too late. When the fireball hit that big goblin, there was a huge explosion. The big goblin burns to death. Looking at its corpse, Jiang Li said indeed, the max level fireball spell took care of the level 4 goblin in an instant. But suddenly, he hears someone's footsteps. He immediately turns around to check what it was, and he sees a group of normal goblins coming out of the bushes. They were attracted by the commotion just now. Seeing them, Jiang Li backs off and starts casting his spell, saying it's just as good a thing. It saves him from having to search for them one by one. But suddenly, a goblin jumped and got too close to him to attack. When Jiang Li saw that goblin, he uses the light armor spell. A light armor appeared and protected him from the goblin's attack. The goblins try hitting it, but the max level light armor spell isn't easily broken through. Jiang Li gets ready to use the fireball spell again. This time, he hits the ground with his fireball spell. With a huge explosion, all the goblins around go flying. Seeing the destructive power, Jiang Li said it's like using a sledgehammer to crack a nut. Suddenly, a system alert notification comes, telling Jiang Li that he has leveled up by 1 level and is currently level 2. Well, he killed that many monsters. But the experience given is too little. Suddenly more goblins appear there. Jiang Li gets ready to use his fireball spell, saying no matter how many come, the result is the same. But this time when he uses the spell, nothing happens. He was unable to make the fireball. Jiang Li was shocked and scared. When he checked his stats, he found that he is out of mana already. Jiang Li was shocked to see his mana pool empty. He only cast 2 fireball spells and 1 light armor spell. Even though he just leveled up and increased his mana pool, it didn't last. Well, luckily, the shield from the light armor spell is still half full. Jiang Li decides to replenish his mana with meditation after finishing them off. He picks up a stick from the ground, knowing that goblins can't break through his defense anyway. He points at the goblins, saying he will play with them. When those goblins get near him, Jiang Li jumps to attack them, saying he will show them the power of the melee mage. He hits one goblin with all his power, but that goblin only loses 10 points of his health. Well, just as expected, the damage of a melee mage is really low, but Jiang Li doesn't lose confidence. He jumps to attack those goblins, saying 10 points is enough. He was right. He can continuously attack those goblins, and they can't do anything to him anyway. Jiang Li continued hitting them, and at last, he killed all the goblins by night. Jiang Li takes a sigh of relief, finally wearing them down. Jiang Li also realizes that his physical damage is really too low. Suddenly, another system notification comes of him leveling to level 3. Well, seeing his stats, Jiang Li thought that currently, he only has the fireball spell as an offensive magic. With his current mana, using 2 fireballs is already the limit. And during the cooldown of the fireball spell, he needs to use the light armor spell to ensure his safety. This way, the efficiency is still too slow. Suddenly, Jiang Li hears a loud sound coming out of the forest. There were many red eyes looking at Jiang Li from the shadows. Hearing the sound, Jiang Li thought, could it be? Well, what he thought was right. A huge monster comes out of the forest. It's a level 10 elite monster, Giant Axe Goblin. This monster is multiple times bigger in size compared to Jiang Li. Seeing it, Jiang Li said it's perfect timing. Eliminating elite monsters in the early stages should provide a lot of experience. He uses the light armor spell with full confidence, but just like before, nothing happened. No armor appeared. Looking at his stats, Jiang Li realizes that his mana is still not enough. But the level 10 Giant Axe Goblin is not waiting for him, and Jiang Li doesn't even have enough mana for the light armor spell. The Giant Axe Goblin raises his axe and swings towards Jiang Li. He jumps to the side to dodge the axe. The axe's attack force was so strong that it cut the ground. The Giant Axe Goblin smiles at Jiang Li. Seeing it, Jiang Li understands one thing. This is going to be a problem. But when Jiang Li is not looking, a small goblin attacks him from behind. Looking back, he sees the small goblins that he almost forgot about. Jiang Li starts to run away, as both the giant axe goblin and the group of small goblins were chasing after him. Jiang Li thinks they are bullying him because he is out of mana. Jiang Li tries to stay calm. From the current situation, Jiang Li thinks of 3 ways to deal with it. The first is to find an opportunity to use meditation to restore his mana. But the small goblins will not let him do that. They will continue to follow him while throwing rocks at him. There's no chance to focus in this situation at all. The second is to use up this one and only potion that Vivi gave him before. Looking at the potion bottle, Jiang Li thinks that this ordinary quality potion can only restore less than 1/3 of his mana, and 1 fireball definitely won't be enough. But the light armor will suffice. So, the only option left is the third one. Retreat for now, recover, and come back to fight again. But running away isn't really Jiang Li's style. He turns back to fight the giant axe goblin. He knows that if he waits for mana to naturally recover, it'll take 24 hours. And during this time, the elite monster might be taken by someone else. Jiang Li opens the potion bottle and drinks it. As he drinks it, his mana immediately increases. The giant axe goblin raises his axe to attack him again, and it hits the place where Jiang Li was standing. The whole ground there was destroyed, but the one to get shocked was the giant axe goblin. At the last moment, Jiang Li casts his light armor spell that stops the giant axe goblin's axe. Seeing his status window, Jiang Li wonders how much mana he can restore using max-level meditation before the light armor breaks. Well, this is a gamble, and Jiang Li plays it. Seeing the light armor, the giant axe goblin gets very angry. Ignoring it, Jiang Li sits down to meditate and starts to recover his mana. Looking at Jiang Li completely ignoring it, the giant axe goblin gets even more angry. It starts continuously attacking the light armor around Jiang Li. Well, 1/3 of Jiang Li's mana has recovered, but his light armor is slowly breaking. But Jiang Li doesn't pay any attention to it and continues with meditation. But when the giant axe goblin, using its full force, attacks the almost broken light armor, it breaks immediately. Well, Jiang Li's mana has half recovered. Seeing it, he says it's enough to deal with this goblin. That goblin was tired after struggling to break the armor, and before it could attack again, Jiang Li, using his fireball spell, attacks it. The giant axe goblin goes flying after it was hit by the max-level fireball spell. There was a huge explosion, and along with the giant axe goblin, all the small goblins also died. A system notification comes, telling Jiang Li that he successfully attacked the weak point. It's a critical hit that kills the giant axe goblin. Jiang Li was exhausted because that was a close call. But max-level meditation sure is powerful. For killing an elite monster and many small monsters, Jiang Li's level increased by 4 levels. Currently, he is level 7. Jiang Li was surprised to find that he leveled up 4 levels just by killing an elite monster. He goes to check the corpse of the giant axe goblin, hoping to find anything good there. He gets 2 pieces of black iron equipment, swift gloves, and exquisite leather boots. But with his current combat strength, either he kills the monster with 1 hit, or the monster kills him in 1 go. So, these beginner's equipment probably won't make much of a difference. And they're ugly. Jiang Li decides to keep them to sell when he gets the chance. On another note, judging by Jiang Li's current mana, he still can't cast a 3rd fireball at full capacity. And every time he has to risk his life to gather the monsters together. Jiang Li said that this efficiency is not even comparable to grinding monsters for a whole day compared to fighting an elite monster. He was hoping that if only there were other low-cost, wide-range attack spells it would be great. And suddenly he saw behind a skill book lying on the ground. Jiang Li's eyes get brighter as he saw the skill book because it's something that even novice classes can learn. He opened the skill book to see what skill it is. And just when he opens it, a huge amount of thunder comes out of the book and flows into Jiang Li's body with high speed. He was shocked to see that the skill book's skill is Arc Lightning. Jiang Li remembers that it's an area of effect skill. Arc Lightning is a level 10 spell whose casting time is 0.5 seconds. Mana consumption is 0 points, and it can jump between multiple targets. The paralysis effect and damage are tied to the user's level, with the level getting max as Jiang Li learns the spell. He laughs because it's actually a scalable skill, and it has a control effect. He can't wait to try it out. Sometimes later, in a peaceful forest, small goblins were resting after working all day. But someone could not see them sleep that peacefully. A lightning spell hit the goblins while they were sleeping. The attack didn't kill them, but they got injured. Zhongli was surprised that one shot is not enough to kill them, so he attacked them with another lightning spell. The second lightning attack again hit all the goblins as it's an area effect spell. After getting hit the second time, the goblins died. The damage is not as high as Fireball, but the mana cost of 4 arc lightnings is barely on par with 1 Fireball, and the casting and cooldown time is faster than Fireball. Plus, no need to gather monsters, so it's a good spell. This is exactly what Zhongli needed. Now he has a means to deal with the small monsters. He thought that the next target is the area boss of the Grey Forest. If one elite monster can provide so much experience and rewards, the area boss must be even more rewarding, right? But after learning from the previous lesson, before going to the boss, Zhongli sits down on the ground to replenish his mana first. After recovering his mana, Zhongli goes deep into the forest where the goblins' tribe was. He thought that the area boss should be in there. He sneaked in as all the goblins were asleep, surrounding a big goblin statue. Zhongli thought that while they're sleeping so soundly, he should quickly find the boss and hit it with a couple of fireballs. But when he was passing by a goblin, he suddenly stepped on a dry branch. Zhongli gets scared because he made a sound. Hearing it, a goblin wakes up. But before it could wake up others, Zhongli tries to silence it. With all his might, he attacks that goblin on the head. But just as expected, that goblin only loses some health and didn't die. That goblin gets very angry and starts screaming. Hearing it scream, other goblins also wake up. They all start chasing after Zhongli, and he starts to run away from them, telling them to stop chasing him because he still needs mana to fight the boss. But when a goblin throws a rock at Zhang Li's head, then he gets very angry. He turns around and starts casting the lightning spell, asking the goblins if they want to fight, then he will fight. He strikes them using his lightning spell. All the goblins get hit by the lightning spell and lose half of their health. But Zhang Li didn't stop there. He attacks them with a second lightning attack, and the goblins get down after getting hit by the second attack. Zhang Li was angry that all of them picked on him, but he doesn't see the boss anywhere. Zhang Li thought, is it not in the tribe? While he was thinking that, suddenly the ground starts to shake. Zhang Li thought it's an earthquake, but he doesn't understand why an earthquake happened all of a sudden. Unconsciously, he goes right in front of the big goblin statue that was in the middle of the goblin tribe. But Zhang Li didn't notice the green light coming out of the statue's body. Not far away from there, 3 people were roaming around in the forest where Zhang Li was. The guy in the middle was their leader. His name is Yan Quan, Yan Shu's cousin. He knows that Zhang Li in this forest practicing this late. Yan Quan plans to seize this opportunity to take down Zhang Li. Then his cousin will surely be pleased. He laughs, wondering how his uncle will reward him then. One of Yan Quan's underlings looks around and asks him if it's so late. Is that guy surnamed Jiang really still in the forest? Yan Quan angrily looks at him and said, "Why, you don't trust me?" That underling gets really scared. He explains that how could he dare to doubt him? What he means is, it's dangerous to be out in the wild at night. If they encounter an elite monster or a boss entry-level practitioner, they can't handle them at all. But suddenly they also felt the earthquake that Zhang Li felt. Yan Quan immediately recognized that reaction. He understood that someone triggered the area boss. He didn't expect an unexpected gain. He told his underlings that the area boss here is the Goblin Shaman. The 3 of them, Black Iron level practitioners, can barely handle it. No matter who's fighting the boss right now, they will let them fight for a while. He laughs, and with a cunning smile, he said that they will give them a taste of their attack later. On the other hand, that statue broke, and from it, the level 20 boss, Goblin Shaman, comes out. Zhang Li was shocked to see it, asking if that's the area boss of the Greywood Forest. Looking at it, Zhang Li thought that its momentum is not as strong as the previous elite monsters. But before Zhang Li could understand the situation more, that Goblin Shaman started casting an ice arrow spell. Seeing that it's also a mage, Zhang Li smiles and activates his fireball spell. Zhang Li throws his fireball at the Goblin Shaman because the Goblin Shaman was still casting its spell. Its casting speed is too slow compared to Zhang Li. There was a huge explosion around the Goblin Shaman. A system notification comes, telling Zhang Li that he successfully attacked the enemy's weak point. It's a critical hit. But in that burning fire, a shadow appeared, and suddenly that shadow attacks Zhang Li with an ice arrow. Seeing that, Zhang Li immediately casts his light armor spell, saying, I knew it wouldn't be that simple. When the ice arrow hits the light armor that Zhongli casted, a system notification comes, warning Zhongli that his light armor is hit by a level 5 ice arrow from the boss goblin shaman. The light armor loses half of its power. Zhongli was shocked to see that the goblin's ice arrow caused such high damage. On the other hand, the goblin shaman was completely unharmed. But when the fire died down, Zhongli disappeared from its sight. The goblin shaman was looking for Zhongli, and he was hiding behind a tree right behind the goblin shaman. But when the goblin shaman felt some movement from behind, it used the ice arrow spell, hitting the tree behind. Well, that was the wrong tree. Zhongli was hiding right next to that tree. Seeing the goblin shaman completely unharmed, Zhongli realized that he had not hit the weak point just now. He understands that the cloak the goblin shaman is wearing can resist flames, must have magic resistance. Zhongli just cleared the mobs, and now straight into a boss fight. Looking at his health and mana, he knows that with his current mana, he definitely can't handle it. Zhongli thought that before the goblin shaman notices him, he will replenish some mana first. On the other hand, the goblin shaman continues attacking the trees he felt Zhongli could be hiding behind. One by one, all the trees fall after getting hit by the goblin shaman's ice arrow spell. Now only one tree was remaining, and that was the tree Zhongli was hiding behind. The goblin shaman goes in front of that tree, then he uses its ice arrow and attacks that tree. The ice arrow first pierces through the tree, then hits the light armor which Zhong cast before. Zhongli was still meditating to recover his mana, but when his light armor got destroyed, he opened his eyes. When the goblin shaman finds Zhongli, it starts to laugh. It immediately starts casting a big spell of multiple ice arrows. Seeing it, Zhongli realizes that this situation is very bad. Zhongli was too shocked when the goblin shaman attacked the tree where he was hiding. Looking at his stats, Zhongli knows that currently his mana isn't enough to cast Fireball, so he decides to fight using a lightning spell. The goblin shaman, who has already cast the ice arrow to attack Zhong, got hit by his lightning spell. Due to Zhong's lightning spell's paralyzing effect, the goblin shaman's ice arrow spell was destroyed. The goblin shaman got on his knees as all of his energy left his body. Zhong gets happy to see that the paralyze effect of arc lightning at max level can actually interrupt the goblin shaman's casting. Seeing this great opportunity, he runs towards the goblin shaman, stealing the goblin shaman's treasured robe, thinking that without it, the goblin shaman won't be able to withstand his spells. Zhongli's plan was to first take away their equipment, then strike guerrilla style. Now it's Zhongli's turn to strike back since the goblin shaman is unable to fight back at the moment. After getting hit by the lightning arc spell again, the goblin shaman is now more miserable. Zhongli's attacks are making him very angry. He looks around for Zhongli to attack, and when he sees a white cloth behind some trees, he gets happy thinking Zhongli is there. He again casts the ice arrow spell and attacks those trees with full power, changing the trajectory of the arrows to make them more powerful. His ice arrows completely destroyed those trees, making big holes in them. There was a huge explosion of cold ice and blue mana. The goblin shaman laughs loudly, thinking he has eliminated Zhongli. But he gets shocked when he sees that there is nothing behind those trees. Zhongli, from behind, asks the goblin shaman where he is looking. Before the goblin shaman could even react to it, Zhongli attacks him from behind, telling the goblin shaman that his game is over. Zhongli attacks him using the fireball spell. As the goblin shaman doesn't have his treasured robe, he casts Goblin Defense, a protective barrier, to defend himself. But in front of Zhongli's max-level fireball spell, the goblin shaman's barrier doesn't stand a chance. It breaks immediately and hits the goblin shaman. There was a huge explosion. Zhongli gets the notification that he successfully attacked the weak spot, dealing critical damage. The goblin shaman falls on the ground. Only a tiny bit of his health remains. Zhongli mocks the goblin shaman, saying, "Although you have defense skills, this is a max-level fireball of mine. Without fire resistance, even the strongest defense is a one-hit kill." Zhongli picks up a stick from the ground, telling the Goblin King that it had tough luck because today it ran into Zhongli. With all his power, Zhongli hits the goblin shaman's head and kills him. After killing the boss monster, the goblin shaman, Zhongli levels up by 3 levels and is currently level 10. Then afterward, when Zhongli sees the boss loot, he gets very happy. Looking at the goblin shaman's wand, Zhongli decides he should use this wand in the future. But he is disgusted looking at the goblin shaman's burned treasured robe. Well, It was a fire resistance robe of black iron quality. The level requirement to wear it was level 5 or above. Wearing this robe can significantly reduce fire damage, but its current durability is 0, as it's already damaged. Seeing it, Zhang Li thought, no wonder the goblin shaman could withstand my fireball, but it's already worn out. And Zhang Li feels like it's not much use, so he throws it. Now the important key is the skill book. Zhang Li learned the ice arrow technique from the skill book. This spell's initial level was level 5, but with Zhang Li's special talent, it upgraded to a max level spell. Looking at the ice arrow technique information, Zhang Li finds out that the chanting time is 2 seconds and the mana cost is 200 points. It can cause significant damage to a single target, with the damage amount tied to the user's level. Zhang Li has already seen what a level 5 ice arrow technique can do. Now he wonders what the max level will do. Then, when Zhang Li checks the goblin shaman's wand's information, he finds that it was the goblin's resentment wand of bronze level. It can increase magic penetration by 10 points. The level requirement to wear it was level 7 or above. The system told Zhang Li to beware of this wand because carrying it would make him the enemy of all goblins. Zhang Li was very surprised to find that it's actually a bronze-level wand with a magic penetration effect. Now he understands how the goblin shaman's ice arrow hit him, even with max-level light armor technique. Zhang Li gets happy thinking that with this, he will be able to handle monsters with innate magic resistance in the future. When Zhang Li was checking his loot, suddenly a voice comes from behind, telling him to put his hands up and don't move. Well, it was Yang Quan and his underlings. Seeing that there's no one else nearby, they thought Zhang Li's teammates must all be dead. They could not even imagine that Zhang Li was hunting alone. Yang Quan recognizes Zhang Li. He laughs, saying, "To defeat a regional boss right after awakening as a professional, not bad, but it's too bad. Those teammates you abandoned were probably stronger than you." Zhang Li gets confused and asks Yang Quan how he knows his name. Yang Quan proudly announces that he is Yang Quan, from the Yan family of Jincheng. He said he heard Zhang Li used to bully his cousin at school. Do he think the Yang family is powerless? Hearing that Yang Quan is Yan's cousin, Zhang Li starts acting. He said Yan was a genius at our school, how could he dare to bully him? Zhang Li said he happened to have some small items here. He offers Yang Quan to take a look and see if there's anything he likes. Basically, Zhang Li offers them to be friends. Yang Quan told Zhang Li that he doesn't have to say it, he will take everything. But as for being friends, there is no way. He rubs his fist and offers Zhang Li to choose what he wants to protect, his hands or legs, saying he will try to go easy. Zhang Li, who was already using his meditation skill to recover his mana, told Yang Quan not to fight as soon as they meet. Yang Quan's underling, who was collecting all the loot from behind, saw Zhang Li using his skill. He told Yang Quan that this Zhang Li is using meditation to regenerate mana. But Yang Quan was full of himself. He asks that even if they let Zhang Li fully recover, so what? The three of them, all at black iron level, can't beat a novice, and he's just an ordinary mage. Hearing that, Zhang Li smiles like a devil. He said, "It's great to know you three are black iron level professionals." Seeing Zhang Li smile, Yang Quan said, "You're not thinking of fighting us to the death, are you?" He told Zhang Li that they won't give him the chance to cast spells. And just when he said that, Zhang Li uses the lightning arc spell and attacks all three of them. They all fall on the ground and get paralyzed. Now the scene has reversed. Zhang Li rubs his fist, saying, "Villains die from talking too much." He mocked Yang Quan, saying, "I'm waiting for mana to regenerate, but why are you not attacking? What are you waiting for?" Paralyzed, Yang Quan was very angry. He asks Zhang Li how he can cast spells so fast. Zhang Li, who was about to cast the fireball skill, said, "Who knows?" He attacks them with fireball, and there was a huge explosion. When the smoke cleared, all three of them completely fell and died. Zhang Li robbed them fully, saying, "As a black iron tier professional, Yang Quan has a lot of good stuff on him." Zhang Li takes everything in his bag, saying, "What else to grind after defeating the area boss and robbing for more profit?" But Zhang Li was a little worried because after defeating the area boss, he only leveled up 3 times. He thought he had to change leveling spots tomorrow. When he was leaving, he looks back at Yang Quan, thinking, 3 black iron tier players robbing a newbie and getting killed. It's too embarrassing to mention such a shameful thing. Then after some time, Zhang Li arrived at Rosetown. Zhang Li was carrying so much stuff after going out that he got very exhausted, regretting that if only there were a spatial item, it would have been easy. From there, he walked more, and got to the Golden Dragon Treasury to sell his loot. The receptionist at Golden Dragon Treasury was a cute girl in a bunny costume. With a bright smile, she asked Jiang Li if he needed her help with something. However, she got shocked when Jiang Li dropped all the loot he got from his hunting. He told the receptionist that he wanted to sell some equipment and materials. The receptionist asked him to wait, saying she would settle with him soon. Then, a while later, she told Jiang Li that it's all settled. According to market prices, it's a total of 972,000 Flame Dragon coins. She rounded it up to 1 million Flame Dragon coins for Jiang Li. Jiang Li was shocked to find that his loot sold for 1 million. Well, it was a normal reaction because he knows that his mom only earns 3,000 to 4,000 a month, but he made 1 million so easily. He thought, is this the difference between professionals and ordinary people? He was happy because at this rate, it won't be long before he can give his mom a better life. Then, after Jiang Li got the money, he asked the receptionist if they had any basic skill books for sale there. The receptionist said yes and asked him to please follow her. While Jiang Li was doing his business on the ground, someone was looking at him from the first floor. She is Golden City Academy's genius girl, Mo Qing, also Jiang Li's classmate. She was a little surprised to see Jiang Li there. Suddenly her attendant called her saying, "Miss, everything is ready." Hearing that, she left. On the other hand, the bunny receptionist took Jiang Li to the Golden Dragon Treasury Library. He asked her that since he needed basic mage class skills, did she have any recommendations? The bunny receptionist took out 5 beginner-level skills that mages can learn, telling Jiang Li that he could choose some that he liked. The first was Level D slowness technique that cost 600,000 Flame Dragon coins. Except for it, all 4 were Level D ice arrow technique, similarly costing 600,000 Flame Dragon coins. Seeing the price, Jiang Li was amazed, thinking, looks like my 1 million isn't really that much. He understood that for now, he could only buy some low-level ones for transition. Currently, Jiang Li knew Fireball, Arc Lightning, and Ice Arrow, so his both single-target and AoE attacks were covered, and he also had Light Armor technique for defense. So, he chose Level D slowness technique as a control skill, thinking that although he had Arc Lightning which has a paralysis effect, the duration is too short. He bought the Slowdown technique. Slowdown technique is a level 10 spell with a cooldown of 1 second, chanting time 0.4 seconds, and duration of 2 seconds. Its effect is that it can apply a slowdown buff to the target, and the slowdown effect is linked to the user's level. But it doesn't matter to Jiang Li because when he learned it, the skill level increased to max level. Jiang Li also needed to solve the problem of mana limit, so he decided to buy some supplies with the remaining money. He asked the receptionist if they sold blue potions or similar items there. And just like that, Jiang Li spent all his 1 million coins. On the other hand, in the reception room of Golden Dragon Treasure Store, the manager personally welcomed Jiang Li's classmate, Mo Qing. She is a very high-status lady of society. Scared of her status, the manager told Mo Qing that the information has been gathered. There indeed is a Black Iron Tier dungeon appearing in the Gale Plains. But the entrance is uncertain, so they need to spend some more time searching. Mo Qing's personality is a little bossy. She told the manager that it's okay. As long as the entrance is in the Gale Plains, she will personally take people to search tomorrow. Well, she was talking about business, but all her attention was on the person she just saw in the hall. She was wondering if she saw it wrong because she heard Jiang Li's awakening ceremony went wrong, and he ended up just an ordinary mage, so it shouldn't be possible for him to appear here. While she was thinking this, her butler noticed it and asked her what she was thinking about. She got surprised that her butler noticed her. Embarrassed, Mo Qing told him that it's nothing. The butler told her that if she can clear this dungeon, her level will definitely skyrocket. Reaching Black Iron Tier probably won't be a problem, and by the time of the trial competition in a week, she will definitely be able to surpass Miss Li from the Li family. Hearing that, Mo Qing got very happy. She told the butler there is no time to waste. She asked him to gather Mo Da and the others over here. She will lead them into the dungeon herself when the time comes. Later, at the Gale Plains which Mo Qing was talking about, 2 Gale Wolves were chasing Jiang Li. He attacked them using the Lightning Arc spell. This attack hit both of the Gale Wolves, and both of them lost half their health and were paralyzed. Jiang Li was surprised to see that with the increase in level, the damage of magic has also become higher. He thought that now, if he goes to fight goblins again, Arc Lightning should be able to one-shot them. While he was thinking that, suddenly another Gale Wolf attacked him from behind, aiming for his neck. But to his surprise, that Gale Wolf's teeth broke down after hitting Jiang Li's light armor. He had already cast the light armor spell for this moment. Seeing that this chase is endless, Zhongli started running again, and those wolves chased him. Suddenly, he looked back and attacked a Gale Wolf with the lightning arc spell. But right before that spell hit the Gale Wolf, it moved to his side and dodged it. Zhongli was surprised to see that these Gale Wolves can actually dodge his arc lightning. He thought, since that's the case, then he will use his new spell. Zhongli cast his newly learned spell, Slowdown Technique. Suddenly, a purple magic circle appeared beneath those Gale Wolves, slowing their movements. Seeing it, Jiang Li said, "Is this the max-level slowdown technique? Fast casting speed, no trajectory, and the enemy can't dodge." He was very surprised, but it can only be cast on a single target, so using it 3 times in a row is a bit extravagant. Jiang Li knows that he needs to deal with other Gale Wolves before others arrive. Then, a moment later, after killing them, Jiang Li drinks a bottle of blue potion to recover his health and mana. It was a good thing he bought some supplies at the Golden Dragon Treasury yesterday. With that, today's monster grinding efficiency is much higher. Currently, Jiang Li is at level 11. At the moment, he was hiding behind a road, thinking about how he should deal with this elite monster. The monster he was aiming for is a level 20 bloodline wolf, triple in size compared to normal Gale Wolves. So, Jiang Li decided to make a surprise attack. He hid behind the rock, and when the bloodline wolf was not looking, he attacked it with the lightning arc spell. When the bloodline wolf was in a paralyzed state, Jiang Li jumped from the rock and attacked it using the fireball spell, saying, "He will take out the mother." There was a huge explosion there, and a system notification came confirming that he successfully attacked the weak spot, making it a critical hit. The bloodline wolf was in bad shape, and the other Gale Wolves had already died. Jiang Li said, "Now it's 1 versus 1. Suddenly, that injured bloodline wolf jumped to attack him. But Jiang Li used the slowdown spell on it, telling it to behave itself. The slowdown curse tied down the bloodline wolf, completely restricting its movement. The bloodline wolf cannot reach Jiang Li, who was standing right in front of him. Looking at it, Jiang Li said that although he doesn't know where the weak spot of the bloodline wolf is, one thing is certain. He cast the fireball spell and said, "It's hairy, it's weak, and it's on fire." Seeing the fireball, the bloodline wolf got very scared because it has already experienced it. Jiang Li successfully attacked its weak spot, making it a critical hit. After killing the bloodline wolf, he leveled up by 2 levels, currently at level 13. As the loot for killing the bloodline wolf, Jiang Li obtained a black iron dagger and a black iron ring. He was happy, thinking that although they are only black iron grade equipment, fortunately, they are small in size. So now it would be easy to carry around. He put them in his bag, wondering how much they can be sold for. While he was collecting the loot, suddenly the ground started to shake like crazy. Jiang Li was surprised to see the ground shaking like that. And before he could even understand the situation, suddenly he heard a noise. When he looked ahead, he saw a sandstorm coming his way. But upon closer inspection, he saw that it's not a sandstorm but rather a horde of monsters. Seeing that, Jiang Li was a little scared. While taking out a blue mana recovery potion, he said, "I just fought an elite monster. There's no need to retaliate against me like this, is there?" But before he could drink the recovery potion, those monsters reached him. Instead of attacking him, they all walked past him and ran behind. Jiang Li was very nervous, but he took a sigh of relief that they didn't come here for him. However, he again got shocked when he realized what this meant. He ran towards the main base area because he knows that wolves are pack animals, and only the Wolf King can summon such a large wolf pack. So, someone triggered the area boss. He runs there shouting that he can't let anyone else get to it first. That boss monster is his. On the other hand, in front of the boss monster's cave, some bandits have surrounded the red-haired girl, Vivi, and her party, who helped Jiang Li at the beginning of the story by giving him a mana recovery potion. From Yi Yi's party, only 3 people were alive, including her. The bald guy from her party was very angry at the bandits, saying, "Taking advantage of the situation. What kind of heroes are you?" But those bandits, before saying anything, hit the other guy from their party. The bandit leader told the bald guy that although they are not really heroes, if he wants to blame anyone, blame himself for being too foolish to come to fight the boss so openly without any preparation. If they don't grab it, who will? All the bandits were aiming at them. The leader laughed, telling the bald guy that his equipment is theirs, and the blood-striped Wolf King is equally theirs. The bald guy and Yi Yi were too scared because from their party, only they were alive. The bald guy offers the bandits that he will give them both the equipment and the Bloodstripe Wolf King, so they should let them go. The bandit leader laughs, saying of course he will let them go. But the bald guy has to bring the priest behind to him. He was a pervert. He said that after he had his fun, he will naturally let them go. Vivi was scared, so, in hope, she called her captain, the bald guy. But the bald guy had already decided what he would do. He asked Yi Yi not to blame him, saying he also wants to live. He approached Vivi so that he could hand her over to the bandits and be safe. Vivi was too scared, telling the bald guy not to come near her. As the bald guy's hand reached her, Vivi started crying, begging for help. And right at that moment, those bandits were hit by a lightning strike. Everyone was shocked by what just happened. The bandit leader was too angry, asking who dares to attack them, who dares to ruin his good fortune. He sensed someone's presence from behind, so he pulled out his sword, asking the enemy to come out. Well, the one who attacked them with lightning was Jiang Li, our main character. He smiled, saying, "Bandits, it's not even dark yet, and you are out robbing. You're so dedicated." Jiang Li readied the fireball spell to attack, but suddenly a bandit assassin attacked him from behind. Jiang Li looked back and attacked that assassin with fireball, saying, "I haven't finished speaking yet, so don't interrupt me." Seeing Jiang Li, the bald guy left Vivi and ran away, asking not to kill him. Vivi became too emotional when she saw that it's Jiang Li who came to help her. The bandit leader was too nervous, thinking if there are still allies standing because in a single strike, all his brothers were swiftly defeated. He understood that this opponent is too strong. But even after knowing all this, in the end, he still underestimated Jiang Li because he's merely a mage. The leader told the leftover bandits to attack Jiang Li together and not give him a chance to cast a spell. Annoyed, Jiang cast the fireball spell, asking, why does each one of them rush in so recklessly? Are they really so eager to die? He attacked them with the fireball and burned them alive. Seeing his fellow bandit brother's condition, the bandit leader got too scared. He couldn't understand how it is possible. It's merely a common mage's skill, yet why such a devastating impact? He threw his sword and got on his knees, saying, "My lord, this has all been a misunderstanding." Pointing at Vivi, he told Jiang Li to take her and leave because the Blood Rune Wolf King resides within the cave. Well, Jiang Li wasn't leaving him that easily. He cast the ice arrow spell, telling the leader that since he had chosen to attack Jiang, then he should be prepared for Jiang's lethal retaliation. He shot the arrow, which killed the bandit leader. The dying bandit leader told Jiang Li that the Blood Wolf mercenaries wouldn't let him get away with this. Then, after killing all the bandits, Jiang Li collected all their equipment. He was happy, because now he could use so many skills in one breath. The level up brought a significant improvement. Vivi hesitated a little but approached Jiang Li and thanked him for saving her. She was a little embarrassed because she didn't expect him to be so powerful. She was worried about Jiang Li earlier. After packing up everything, Jiang told her that it's nothing. She had previously saved him as well, so now they were even. Then, before going into the boss monster's cave, he told her that he was about to go fight the boss. Did she want to come with him? Vivi hesitated at first, but seeing his power, she agreed. While Vivi was following Jiang Li, she thought he was amazing because he had just dealt with those thugs a moment ago, and now he was going to challenge the boss. She thought that Jiang Li's age didn't seem considerable. Could it be that he possessed some powerful and concealed class? Then, when both of them entered the cave, they saw the boss monster, a level 25 Blood Rune Wolf King, sleeping there. They hid behind a rock to observe it. Vivi thought that currently, she was only at level 20. She had just reached Black Iron rank not long ago. So, was it possible for only the two of them to kill the boss? She was worried looking at Jiang Li, who seemed ready to attack the boss monster with the fireball spell. Seeing her worried, Jiang Li ran towards the boss monster and attacked it using fireball, telling her that they wouldn't know until they tried. When his fireball hit the boss monster, there was a huge explosion. Seeing that there was no critical hit indicator, Jiang Li thought, is the Wolf King not vulnerable to fire? The boss monster awakened and roared loudly, saying, "Intruder, meet your end." From Jiang Li's fireball attack, the boss monster only lost a little bit of its health. Seeing that, Jiang Li confirmed one thing. Although the Wolf King showed no weakness to fire, it seemed he didn't have magic resistance either. When the Wolf King attacked, Jiang Li dodged his attack and started casting Slowdown spell, thinking he should be capable of managing this. But before Jiang Li's spell could tie down the Wolf King, it jumped, and after escaping, it again attacked Jiang Li with very fast speed. Jiang's light armor stopped the Wolf King's attack and saved him. Seeing it, Jiang admitted that it's truly a boss. Jiang's shield nearly shattered, and even after casting the slow spell, its agility remained remarkable. Zhang Li knows that he needs to take action, so he aims at the Wolf King with his ice arrow. Vivi, who was a priest, cast her magic at Zhang Li, telling him that she would enhance his magical offensive power. After being enhanced, Zhang Li attacked the Wolf King, but the Wolf King easily dodged it, and seeing that, Vivi was shocked. But Zhang Li was aiming for it to dodge it and let down its guard. Then, he changed the ice arrow's trajectory and hit the back of the Wolf King's neck. A system notification came that Zhang Li had successfully struck a vulnerable spot, resulting in a critical hit. With that, the Wolf King lost most of its health, and only a little bit remained. Zhang Li told the Wolf King that he learned this technique from bosses like him. Now Zhang Li knows that the vulnerability of the wolf beast lies within its neck. As the Wolf King was not in good health, it roared loudly, and an annoying red aura came out of its body. Vivi told Zhang Li to watch out because the boss monster was going berserk, and suddenly many small gale wolves came out from behind to fight. Zhang Li was surprised to see those ruffians from earlier. Now he understands that this boss has the ability to summon lesser creatures. Seeing that the Blood Rune Wolf King has the ability to summon lesser creatures, Zhang Li gets ready to use his fireball spell. Vivi comes to assist him with her support magic. She tells Zhang to be careful and assists in slowing down gale wolves and replenishing Zhang Li's mana. As Zhang moves forward, all the gale wolves attack him from all directions. Zhang attacks them with his fireball spell. There is a huge explosion, and in that, most of the Blood Rune Wolf King's summoned gale wolves died, leaving behind only experience points. Zhang gains 20 experience points per gale wolf he kills. With Zhang Li's attack, the confined space of this cavern is revealed. Zhang smiles because now he knows that summoning a multitude of minions has inadvertently restricted the Blood Rune Wolf King's innate agility. Jiang calls the Blood Rune Wolf King, telling him that if he uses that skill once more, Jiang may temporarily spare his life. The Blood Rune Wolf King gets angry to hear that. He again roars and summons many lesser creatures to fight. Right after those gale wolves are summoned, Jiang Li jumps to attack them using his fireball spell, saying the right moment has come. After killing this batch of gale wolves, Zhang Li levels up. Currently, he is level 14. As time passes, Zhang Li continues killing the gale wolves and obtaining 20 experience points. Vivi also gains 10 experience points because she was Zhang's teammate at the moment. Vivi is very exhausted because she was continuously supporting Zhang Li with her magic as he was fighting the gale wolves for so long. After fighting for so long, Zhang again levels up and becomes level 15. He drinks a recovery potion, then asks the Blood Rune Wolf King to, let's go again. He casts his Ice Arrow's spell to fight, saying if he knew the boss had such abilities, why would he waste his time on lesser monsters? The Blood Rune Wolf King is very exhausted because it was continuously using its power to summon the lesser monsters. It was very shocked that all his minions vanished just like that. Seeing that the Blood Rune Wolf King is unable to summon more monsters, Zhang Li asks if this is his limit. Zhang sighs in disappointment because there is nothing he can do about it. Then he attacks the Blood Rune Wolf King with ice arrows, saying he will just have to reluctantly accept your last bit of value. Seeing the ice arrows coming its way, the Blood Rune Wolf King calls Zhang Li a devil. Before its death, the Blood Rune Wolf King cries for the first time in his life, saying Zhang is nothing but a devil. When it dies, suddenly Vivi gets a notification that she has leveled up. Now Vivi is level 21. She is surprised because even the search function she has leveled up. Zhang Li also levels up and becomes level 16. He gained 3 levels here and got lots of good loot. He is very happy with his win. It was very surprising for Vivi to see someone actually using the boss's summoning skill for experience. She starts to wonder who's the real boss here. When Jiang was collecting the loot, he asks Vivi to come here for a second. He gives her a wand as her share. Vivi is very shocked that it's for her, but she tells Jiang that she didn't do anything. So how can she accept it? Jiang tells her to accept it because didn't she help him restore his mana and increase his magic damage? This makes her an excellent support. He tells Vivi that if they encounter any danger, he will need her assistance. Hearing Zhang Li praise Vivi, she starts to blush. She accepts the wand, saying, all right, support is my duty. From Zhang Li's words, it seems she is quite important to him, and this makes Vivi very happy. Then both of them start heading out. On the way, Zhang Li suddenly remembers that the boss just dropped 2 skill books, and he forgot to check the effects. He remembers they're called Lightness Spell and Swamp Womp Spell. With Jiang's skill effect, both of those skill books' level has maxed out. By checking the system, Jiang finds out that the Lightness Spell technique can increase one's movement speed. Now Jiang Li understands how the Wolf King could still move after his slowdown spell. The other skill, Swamp Spell, can ensnare multiple enemies at once. Jiang Li decides to try it when he gets the chance. While he was lost in his thoughts and was walking ahead, suddenly Vivi noticed something and called Jiang to take a look at it. The thing Vivi saw was Ghost Orchid, a purple-colored health herb. Vivi told Jiang Li that though it's not much use to professionals, for ordinary people, it's a top-grade medicinal herb that can cure all kinds of diseases, so they can make a fortune selling this. Vivi tames one and gives one to Jiang Li for his perfect herb. He thanked her and told her that his mother is an ordinary person. Years of hard work have left her with many chronic illnesses. So with this, he hopes to ease her pain a bit. Vivi was happy to hear that. But suddenly, she noticed something. Pointing at the wall behind, she asked Jiang Li to look quickly. That rock wall is glowing. After seeing that, Jiang Li notices there seems to be something inside. He gets ready to use the fireball spell, telling Vivi to step back a bit. He explodes that wall with his fireball spell. After that wall was destroyed, what comes to light is very shocking. Behind that dungeon wall is a dungeon's secret realm. Jiang Li gets a system notification that he has discovered a level 25 Black Iron level dungeon's secret realm. They discovered one of the 2 Dark Altar entrances. Its difficulty is hard, and entry is limited to professionals level 23 and below. 2 to 6 players can go in at one time. Vivi tells Jiang Li that it looks dangerous, so should they go back and prepare first, as long as they know the entrance's location. Before she could complete her words, Jiang Li intervened, saying, "No way." He told Vivi that if she feels it's dangerous, she can go back first, but if she is willing to follow him, then don't worry. He is here, and he will protect her. Vivi was very impressed with Jiang Li because what he said is good to hear. Vivi also got confident and agreed, saying she will do her best, and if they run into danger, she will buy Jiang Li time. With that, they entered the dungeon's secret realm of Dark Altar. Their mission is to stop the Dark Mage Garubi's ritual. Hearing that it's a Dark Mage, Jiang Li realized that there's a high chance of dropping equipment related to mages. He runs fast, imagining what could be the loot, leaving behind Vivi. But suddenly, he saw something and grabbed Vivi's hand and hid behind a tree. Surprised, Vivi asked Jiang Li what happened all of a sudden. He asked her to look in front. Right in front of them was a level 20 skeleton knight riding a skeleton horse. Seeing that, Jiang Li realized that this dungeon is indeed not simple. Even the regular monsters are level 20, he smiled, saying the rewards from this dungeon must be extraordinary. Little did he know that right behind them 3 skeleton knights are standing, glaring at them. The skeleton knights ran towards them, shouting, "Outsiders!" Both Jiang Li and Vivi were too shocked and looked back. The skeleton knights attacked them, shouting, "Outsiders! Who do you think you're spying on?" Fortunately, these skeleton monsters aren't very intelligent, so they haven't launched a direct attack. Otherwise, Jiang Li wouldn't have been able to react in time. Jiang Li decided to try out a new move. He used his D-level swamp spell. This forms a swamp area with a radius of 30 meters in front. Enemies caught in the swamp area will be immobilized with their movement speed reduced by 90%. When he used the spell, the ground in front of Jiang Li turned into swamp. Those skeleton knights started to sink in that swamp without doing much. They struggled to come out, but as much as they tried, they sank more. Taking that opportunity, Jiang Li cast his fireball spell and finished off those level 20 skeleton knights in one attack. The full range of the fully upgraded swamp spell is surprisingly large. Now, when facing multiple enemies, Jiang Li won't have to deal with them one by one. He got another spell to fight groups of enemies. Suddenly, they heard someone screaming for help. Vivi was surprised, asking what was that. Could someone be fighting a boss? Jiang Li said, "It seems that other intruders have disturbed the Dark Mage." He told Vivi to wait here. He will go check it out. The one who screamed for help was Mo Qing with her 2 knight bodyguards. They were surrounded by skeleton knights. So Mo Qing's bodyguards asked her to use the teleportation scroll right now. But Mo Qing hesitated because they hadn't even defeated a single wild monster. The bodyguard told her not to worry about that. Her safety is the top priority. Suddenly, a skeleton knight attacked them, and seeing it, that bodyguard got scared. But when that skeleton knight was about to attack that bodyguard, Suddenly Jiang Li appeared in front of them. Jiang Li immediately cast his light armor spell that stopped the skeleton knight's scythe. Mo Qing was shocked to see Jiang Li there. When the bodyguard heard Jiang Li's name from the academy, he remembered that Jiang Li and their Miss Mo Qing were in the same class. Realizing that Jiang Li just awakened a few days ago, he underestimated him. He called Jiang Li a kid, telling him that these monsters are beyond his beginner-level abilities and they can't waste time worrying about his life. Jiang Li said thank you for your concern, but you don't need to trouble yourselves. He cast the fireball spell and attacked those skeleton knights. When his fireball hit those skeleton knights, they immediately died, leaving 40 experience points for him. With this, Jiang Li finished off those skeleton knights and leveled up again. He became level 17. Mo Qing's bodyguards were too shocked that Jiang Li defeated them all with just one move. Mo Qing admits that it's truly impressive. But Mo Qing's bodyguards don't want to admit that they were saved by a level 17 kid. They told Mo Qing that they can do that too. They told Jiang Li to leave now because he is in the way, but Mo Qing is now confirmed that it's really Jiang Li. She wasn't wrong about him earlier. Surprised, Jiang Li doesn't recognize her and asks if she knows him, but looking closely, he remembers that she is Mo Qing, the genius girl who is on par with Li Moen. Seeing her bodyguard, he asks her if she is here to level up too. He advises her that this dungeon is quite challenging, so be careful. Mo Qing's bodyguards get angry to hear Jiang Li advise them. They told Jiang Li not to get too cocky. They already weakened those monsters. And Jiang Li is just finishing the job they started. They told him that they are elite members of the Black Iron rank, so he doesn't need to worry about them. Seeing them behave like that, Jiang Li said if there's nothing else, he will go on his way. Well, he was thinking that these people struggle even with small monsters, so he understands that they probably won't be able to compete for boss loot with him. But Mo Qing asks Jiang Li to wait, saying, Jiang Li, you are probably not Black Iron rank yet. Jiang Li doesn't understand why she is asking that, so he tells her that he is already level 17. It shouldn't take long. Mo Qing is too shocked that Jiang Li reached level 17 in just a few days and with such strength. She is very curious about how he pulled that off. She takes out a green pendant and tells Jiang Li that she actually has a favor to ask. Could he help her clear this dungeon? She takes out a yellow gem from that pendant, telling Jiang Li that the reward is this Black Iron promotion gem. It might be useful for him. Jiang Li starts to blush seeing the place she took out that pendant. He thought, is this pendant a storage item? It must be expensive. Well, he was looking at the pendant, I swear. But Mo Qing gets embarrassed when she sees him staring at her. She turns around and covers herself, asking Jiang if he could please stop staring at it. Jiang Li is confused because he doesn't have an idea what she is talking about. Well, Jiang Li knows that to reach Black Iron rank, one either needs to face the Black Iron trial or directly use the promotion gem. These are the two methods, but promotion gems are rare and costly, usually not worth using. But Jiang Li thought that considering his leveling speed, he will reach level 20 before the dungeon ends. So if he doesn't get promoted to Black Iron rank, the extra experience will go to waste. Thinking all that, Jiang Li said, Mo Qing, I can help you, but you'll need to ask them to leave first. I don't want to share the experience with too many people. When Mo Kung's bodyguards hear that, they get too angry, asking Jiang Li what did he say. They told him not to be so arrogant just because he is a little strong. Another bodyguard told Mo Qing that they won't let her follow this person. She knows that if this gets out that they were unable to protect their client, how can they continue as bodyguards? Mo Qing told them that it's boring being with them. She told them to leave now, saying it's an order. The male bodyguard said that since Mo Qing insists, they will leave, but she should at least let them test Jiang Li's strength first. He points his sword at Jiang Li, shouting, Show us what you've got. Let's see what you can do. Jiang Li smiles and makes a fireball, saying, Since you want to test me, then get ready, because I won't hold back. He makes that fireball very big, telling Mo Qing's bodyguard that his fireball might be slightly oversized, so they please bear with it for a brief moment. Seeing the size of the fireball, that bodyguard questions himself. Can a mere beginner-level mage conjure up such a fireball? As Jiang Li's fireball comes near, tears come to that bodyguard's eyes, knowing that this is the end. But right before hitting the bodyguard, Jiang Li stops his fireball, saying, Let's leave it at that. Let's call it quits here. He warns the bodyguards that if they still want to continue, he won't stop them. That bodyguard laughs and takes back his sword, saying, Jiang Li, your abilities are commendable, although slightly weaker than ours. Clearing such a dungeon shouldn't be a problem. Well, they don't want to show themselves weak, but inside they know they are lucky that Jiang Li didn't act. Otherwise, they might have been in real peril. They greet Mo Qing, saying, "Miss, we will take our leave then. Take care of yourself." After they left, Jiang Li took Mo Qing to Vivi. While walking, Vivi told Jiang Li that she has waited for him for so long. She asks him to please take her with him next time because she was really scared. Jiang Li tells her he will try his best. Seeing Vivi being all touchy with Jiang Li, Mo Qing gets jealous. She is curious to know what their relationship is because she hasn't heard that Jiang Li has a girlfriend. Thinking all that, Mo Qing approaches Vivi first, saying, "Sister, I'm still unsure of how to address you. My name is Mo Qing, and I'm in the same class as Jiang Li." Vivi smiles and asks Mo Qing to just call her Vivi. To Mo Qing, Vivi and Jiang Li seem quite close, and that makes her jealous. So she hugs him from behind, saying, "Jiang Li, I have something to discuss with you." Vivi is surprised by Mo Qing's sudden behavior. Mo Qing asks him that she has heard his awakening process was somewhat troubled. Jiang Li says yes. "I'm merely an ordinary mage, but it's not like you have to be a special profession to become strong, right?" He tells Mo Qing he has his own way to get strong. Then a moment later, Jiang Li, using his lightness spell, moves very fast, and with a fireball spell, he starts killing the skeleton knights. As he was getting many experience points from killing the level 20 skeleton knights, he again levels up and becomes level 18. Mo Qing and Vivi were watching from the bushes, amazed to see him. Mo Qing asks Vivi, "Has Jiang Li always been like this?" Vivi tells her that it startled her at first as well when she saw him fight. Mo Qing was very curious because from what she can see, all the skills Jiang Li uses are beginner level, so why is he so strong? While they were thinking all that, suddenly, a level 27 skeleton knight commander comes there. He looks very powerful as he was emitting a very dark aura. Jiang Li was surprised to see that this dungeon has other bosses. He casts Swamp Spell, and that skeleton knight commander, and all the other skeleton knights start to sink in that swamp. Jiang Li was confident, saying, "No matter how many come, it's all the same. As long as I use control skills well, these skeletons are no threat to me." But it was a mistake from Jiang's side. He should not underestimate his enemies. The skeleton knight commander uses his skill, and suddenly, the shadow of the skeleton knight commander's horse comes out of its body and directly hits Jiang Li in the stomach. Jiang Li goes flying and hits a tree behind with a solid impact. Both Vivi and Mo Qing are shocked to see that because Jiang Li got hit, his swamp spell disappears, and the skeleton knight commander and other skeleton knights get free from it. They run towards Vivi and Mo Qing to attack. Vivi tells Mo Qing to go save Jiang Li while she distracts them. Even though Mo Qing is so scared, she still wants to fight the skeleton knight commander. Suddenly, an ice arrow comes and hits the skeleton knight commander. It was Jiang Li. Seeing him, Mo Qing asks if he is all right. Well, it was a good thing. The lightness spell that Jiang Li cast before hadn't ended yet. Otherwise, it wouldn't have been just a minor injury. Jiang Li didn't expect that the skeleton knight commander would have long-range attack methods. Seeing him injured, Vivi comes to heal him using her spell. Without wasting time, those skeleton knights with their commander attack Jiang, and his party, who is a priest, starts praying. "The glow of holy light, bless my allies, shroud the enemy in vulnerability, intensify our assault," she said. With her power, a huge holy light appeared in the sky. In front of her spell, those skeleton knights were unable to approach them. Mo Qing told Jiang Li that this is the perfect moment to use group attack magic. Jiang Li said he got it and uses the lightning arc spell. His lightning arc spell becomes more powerful and hits all the skeleton knights and their commander. Jiang Li was too shocked to see that the damage has increased. Vivi was surprised to see the blessing of holy light. She explains that this blessing allows allies within its range to inflict holy attribute damage, and it afflicts the enemy with vulnerability and blindness. At this moment, allies' attacks on the enemy will increase several times over. Being able to use this skill means Mo Qing's profession is a special profession, Holy Priest. With this damage increase, vulnerability, blindness, they all are its effects. After a few seconds, Jiang Li's lightning arc spell's paralysis effect is removed from the skeleton knight commander. He stands up again to attack. Seeing it coming, Jiang Li asks Mo Qing to use that blessing again. Mo Qing immediately gets to it, and Vivi uses her spell to increase Jiang Li's magic damage. Jiang Li tells both of them to be careful because that skeleton knight commander is coming towards them at high speed. It reaches Jiang Li in the blink of an eye and raises its scythe to attack him. The skeleton knight commander reaches Jiang Li in the blink of an eye and raises its scythe to attack him, but Mo Qing uses her divine power to shoot at it. Mo Qing's divine power is very strong and shines brightly everywhere. The skeleton knight commander backs off and closes its eyes because of the divine light. After the divine light dissipates, the skeleton knight commander looks around to find both Mo Qing and Jiang Li, but suddenly Jiang Li's voice comes from behind, saying, "Stop searching, I'm right here." Jiang Li, who was in the sky, uses his ice arrow spell to shoot at the skeleton knight commander, creating a hole in its body. Jiang Li lands right in front of the skeleton knight commander's corpse, saying, "Victory is ours." After killing the skeleton knight commander, Jiang Li levels up and becomes level 20. He also obtains a C-grade skill book, Bone Spear Spell. With Jiang Li's special talent, the Bone Spear spell reaches its max level. The Bone Spear spell is a C-grade spell that launches a bone spear, weakening the hit part if it's a weak spot. If it was already a weak spot, the damage will be increased. Along with Jiang Li, Mo Qing and VV also level up. Mo Qing becomes level 29 and VV becomes level 22. Getting a C-grade skill is quite the treasure. But Jiang Li's skill slots are full. He has to decide which skill he should replace, but this skill can only be learned by Black Iron mages. So Jiang Li thought he could ponder for now and learn it later. While he was thinking about all that, Mo Qing calls him and offers a Black Iron promotion gem, telling him to take it and use it, considering it as an advance reward because getting stronger will also benefit their dungeon raid. Plus, Jiang Li wouldn't want to miss out on future experiences. While giving him the promotion gem, Mo Qing blushes and asks Jiang Li to call her Qing Qing from now on. Lin grabs Mo Qing's hand and thanks her, saying he owes her one this time. He tells Mo Qing that he will repay her twofold later. But right after Jiang Li grabs her hand, Mo Qing doesn't hear anything and is lost in her dreams. Meanwhile, at the entrance to the dungeon, when Mo Qing's butler hears that her bodyguards left her in the dungeon, he gets very angry and slaps the bodyguards, asking why they left the young lady alone in the dungeon. Have they lost their minds? The bodyguard tells the butler that Jiang Li may be a novice, but he is quite strong. Hearing that Jiang Li is a novice, the butler gets even more angry, asking what nonsense they are talking about. Suddenly, Butler Fu's subordinate, who was standing behind, sees something and calls him to look at the dungeon because something is not right. When Butler looks at the dungeon, his expression changes immediately. The blue dungeon gate turns red, and a system notification comes, saying, "Unknown incident occurred in the current Black Iron difficulty secret dungeon, Dark Altar. Difficulty has increased to Abyss level. Because of this, exiting the dungeon is not possible once entered." Seeing it, Butler Fu moves immediately and asks his subordinates to gather all elites under level 25 because the lady is in danger. They will follow Butler Fu and go to save her. Meanwhile, inside the dungeon, Jiang Li is meditating after using the promotion gem, and Mo Qing and VV are guarding him. Suddenly, VV hears some voices from the forest and asks who is there. In response, a monster comes out of the forest, asking them if they are the intruders. The monster says it's impressive to be able to defeat its minions. However, this is where they meet their end. This monster is level 30, boss level Dark Mage Garubi. Mo Qing is too shocked to see a dungeon boss who is seeking out intruders. Meanwhile, Jiang Li is in the midst of a breakthrough, so disturbing him could be fatal. Mo Qing decides to stall for time, but suddenly Butler Fu arrives there with his subordinates. They come running, asking Mo Qing if she is all right. Mo Qing is also very happy to see them. Now she doesn't have to fight only with VV. Seeing them, Dark Mage Garubi gets more angry, thinking they are reinforcements, and this was a trap. He calls them annoying pests and attacks them using his rock spike spell. Hundreds of rock spikes come out of the ground and hit the knights. Some knights fall for it, but some survive. Seeing its attack, one of Mo Qing's knights smiles, saying, "Dark Mage Garubi, your rank is impressive, but that's all you've got." Well, he should not have said that. Suddenly, a huge monster appears above that knight, and with a solid impact, it curses that knight with its huge body. That huge monster is an unknown level boss, a lower demon lord. The demon looks at Mo Qing's knights and asks who dares summon him. Seeing him, the knights get scared because it was a deep abyss demon. Dark Mage Garubi calls the demon lord, telling him that it was he who summoned him, pointing at the knights. He said these souls are the sacrifices he offers to him. Looking at the knights, the demon said, "Merely these mortals? They're not even fit to plug the gaps between his teeth." When the demon said that, Mo Qing's knights get scared, saying, "It's over. We're all dead." But suddenly someone intervened, asking the dark mage who was becoming a sacrifice. It was Jiang Li, who had been promoted to Black Iron level. His skill slot had expanded by 1, and he could now cast 2 skills. Lin used his new Bone Spear spell, telling everyone to cheer up and fight back because the outcome remained undecided. Seeing Jiang Li's Bone Spear spell, Butler Fu realized that it was a Deep Abyss demon skill, but he was still doubtful whether Jiang Li could fight against the demon. Meanwhile, Jiang Li attacked that demon with his bone spears, but the demon used its hand to defend its head. Some bone spears injured the demon's hand. Butler Fu, who was doubtful about Jiang Li before, was shocked to see that the bone spear spell actually wounded the demon. Now, he was wondering who this enigmatic youth was, but he knew it was still not enough, and he himself needed to risk everything to save his miss. He told the mages to attack that demon. They had to protect the lady at all costs. Those mages surrounded the demon and attacked him using fireball spells. While they were fighting the demon, Butler Fu took out his sword and requested Jiang Li to take their lady to safety. He entrusted this to Jiang Li and also went to fight the demon. That old-looking butler was actually a high-level hunter himself. The mage's continuous attacks made the demon very angry. It called them a bunch of dwarf ants and got ready to use its energy breath to attack them. It attacked Butler Fu after realizing that he was the one in charge. Butler Fu infused his aura into the sword and got ready to attack the demon. He used his aura sword to stop that demon's energy breath. He struggled, but in the end, he stopped it. Butler Fu was exhausted, but his spirit didn't fade. He used more aura to make his sword more powerful and jumped to attack the demon. He decided that he would unleash his most powerful technique, thinking that if he couldn't slay this demon, he must at least buy time for their lady. Butler Fu used his most powerful attack, Sword of Judgment, and jumped high to attack that demon. But before hitting the demon's head, that demon stopped Butler Fu's sword with his hand. Then, it grabbed Butler Fu and started choking him. It laughed at Butler Fu, asking, "Is that all you've got?" Then it threw Butler Fu on the ground. Mo Qing was scared and worried about Butler Fu, so she tried to go to help him, but Jiang Li stopped her. The demon started going towards Butler Fu, who was lying on the ground. Scared of the demon, all the hunters didn't dare to go there and just asked Butler Fu to run away from there. Butler Fu was very injured and unable to even move. The demon was about to crush him, saying, "Weak human, you overestimate yourselves." But suddenly, a huge ice spear came from the front. The demon dodged it, but that ice spear still hit that demon's wing. The demon was surprised by that attack, and Butler Fu saw this opportunity and attacked the demon's leg. The demon fell on the ground, and Butler Fu ran away from there. The demon was very angry and looked around to see who dared to attack it. Right in front of him was Jiang Li, who was aiming his ice arrow at the demon, saying he would handle this demon. Jiang Li aimed at the demon and told others that those in need of healing should tend to their wounds swiftly. Seeing that Jiang Li had not left, Butler Fu got worried about his miss, Mo Qing. He called Jiang Li, telling him that it was his duty to escort their lady to safety. They would take over the battle here. Jiang Li told Butler Fu that there was no need for that because he had discovered a method to inflict damage upon this demon. Butler Fu was surprised that despite being merely a Black Iron mage, Jiang Li could cast 2 spells at once. The reason he was shocked was because Jiang Li had added bones to his Ice Spear's spell. Butler Fu wondered if it was even possible to merge 2 powers and unleash an entirely new power. That demon stood up, calling them filthy creatures, and suddenly jumped to attack Jiang Li, saying, "This is unforgivable." Jiang Li jumped to the other side, dodging the demon's attack. He went behind the demon's back and attacked the demon's head with his bone ice spear. The demon lost both of its wings. Looking at the demon, Jiang Li said, "The wings, the Achilles heel of you vile creature, am I right?" What he meant was that for a demon, losing its wings is like losing its magic. Now that the demon couldn't use magic anymore, it was angry. It asked Jiang Li how he knew that. Jiang Li told the demon that abyssal demons are humanity's greatest enemy. To prevent them from returning to harm the world again, their academy had taught them numerous strategies to counter their kind. Jiang Li asked the demon to surrender now. He was bluffing because he knew that the location of the demon's heart was random. So even with its magic sealed, it all came down to luck. Hearing Jiang Li, Dark Mage Garubi got angry, telling Jiang Li not to be so arrogant because such trifling wounds meant nothing to them. Moreover, their recovery powers were formidable, so they would soon be restored to full strength. But the demon had other plans. It grabbed Dark Mage Garubi, saying it couldn't wait any longer. It must regain its power now. Dark Mage Garubi was surprised, but he understood what the demon was about to do and started asking for mercy. Everyone was too shocked to see what the demon was doing. The demon lifted Garubi and put him in its mouth, devouring him while Garubi was still alive. When the demon ate Garubi, its body started to change. It became more powerful, and new wings grew on its back. A system warning came, saying the demon lord entered the second phase and had become extremely dangerous. The demon looked at them angrily, saying, "Humans, you have incited my fury." It suddenly attacked them using energy breath, but this time, its attack was more powerful. Jiang Li ran fast and dodged the attack. He knew that with the max-level agility spell, he could survive, but he was unable to retaliate. His current armor spell couldn't withstand it. But suddenly, Jiang Li's body started glowing, and a system message came, saying, "Affected by the blessing, magic attack power has increased by 100%. Right after that, another message came, saying, "Affected by the blessing, magic attack power has increased by 200%. Jiang Li was shocked to see that and looked at Mo Qing and the others. All the hunters there were using their magic to buff Jiang Li. System messages continued coming, saying, "Affected by the blessing, defense has increased by 100%. Affected by the blessing, speed has increased by 200%. Affected by the blessing, vitality and mana are slowly regenerating." But the demon also noticed them buffing Jiang Li. It made an energy ball in its hand and aimed at them, saying, "A group of meddlesome fools, just die." Seeing it, Jiang Li realized that the situation was bad. He immediately turned to go help them. The demon threw the energy ball at them, and Jiang Li, who was behind the demon, also ran towards to save them. At the same moment, a system message came notifying Jiang Li that his speed had been boosted by 300%. With the increase in speed, he reached Mo Qing and the others. Right before the demon's energy ball hit them, Jiang Li cast his light armor spell. Because of the buff, his defense increased by 200%, and his corresponding shield skill increased by 200%. The demon's energy ball hit them, causing a huge explosion. But before the demon could get happy, it found that the ground beneath its feet had turned into swamp. The demon tried to fly away from that swamp but couldn't. It was surprised, asking, "What kind of strange trick is this?" That was Jiang Li's paralysis and action restriction, combined spell. Because of Jiang Li's light armor spell, they were all safe. They continued giving their buffs to Jiang Li. He got ready and cast a lightning spell in that swamp. Doing that created a new combo spell, Thunderstorm. This was more powerful than a simple lightning spell. And after getting hit by that, the demon was seriously injured. It was unable to even move around. As Jiang Li moved to attack the demon, Butler Fu commanded that those with enhancement items would use enhancement magic and give them all to Jiang Li because he was the only one who could save them now. Due to the blessing, Jiang Li's magic attack power continued to increase by 600%, then 700%, and then it reached 800%. Seeing that Jiang Li was daring to come forward, the demon got ready to use its energy breath, thinking Jiang Li was foolish. It aimed an attack at Jiang Li, but Jiang Li, who had an 800% boost in his magic, wasn't going down that easily. To counter the demon's attack, Jiang Li used the Bone Arrow spell. His spell cut through the demon's energy breath and went directly to its head. The demon said it was just petty tricks and used its hand to defend. Jiang Li's bone arrow broke into multiple arrows and hit the demon. The demon covered its head with its hands, with bone arrows stuck in them. Seeing this, Jiang Li said, "It seems you're very careful about protecting your head. Is there something important there?" The confident demon asked Jiang Li. What did it matter if he knew? He was going to die anyway. But suddenly, those bone pieces that were stuck in the demon's hands caught fire and exploded. The spell that Jiang Li used was Explosive Bone Spear, which was the combo of Bone Spear technique and Fireball technique. Because of the explosion, the demon was unable to see, and taking this opportunity, Jiang Li attacked him using the Ice Arrow spell. When those ice arrows hit the demon, it screamed. When others heard the demon scream, they thought it was over, but it was not. From the smoke, sounds of the demon's laughter emerged. Right because it got hit, the demon stopped the ice arrow of Jiang Li. The demon told Jiang Li that just now was his only chance to defeat him. But suddenly, the demon looked at his hands, which were injured by Jiang Li's explosive bone spears. The demon was confused as to why hadn't he recovered yet. Angrily, he asked Jiang Li what had he done to him. Jiang Li smiled and told the demon that it was just a simple slowing spell. The demon called Jiang Li a despicable person, asking if he thought these little tricks could deal with him. But Jiang Li laughed again and moved his fingers to call back, asking the demon if he thought Jiang Li only shot one arrow. Jiang Li casted multiple ice arrow spells that were just above the demon's head. On Jiang Li's command, all those ice arrows came with super speed and pierced the demon's whole body. With that, the demon's story ended, and Jiang Li leveled up 5 levels, becoming level 25. Everyone was overjoyed that it was finally over. Along with Jiang Li, everyone present there also leveled up by 2 levels. Seeing Jiang Li, Butler Fu thought that if this young man now had such strength, in the future, he would definitely become a peak powerhouse that shakes the world. It was important to maintain a good relationship with him. Zhang Lin was also surprised because he knows that in theory, reaching the black iron level as a mage doesn't mean one can use 2 spells simultaneously. He thought, could it be because all his skills are at maximum level? So he awakened an additional ability? Some were happy, but some were jealous of him. Mo Qing's bodyguards commented that with so many buffs on one person, if they were not injured, they might have been able to battle that demon. But Mo Qing intervened, telling Jiang Lin not to listen to her bodyguard's nonsense. Vivi agreed with her, telling Jiang Lin that they owe it to him this time. Aside from that, Jiang Lin asked Vivi what her plans are after the instance. Vivi said she feels like her strength is still lacking, and she is afraid she will hold back Jiang Lin, so she wants to train in lower-level areas first. When she becomes stronger, then they can enter instances together. Embarrassed, Mo Qing said that next time she also wants to be with Jiang Lin. He was surprised, asking if she wanted to go with him, but Butler Fu intervened and explained that his miss means that she would like to invite him to her mansion to sit for a while. He asked Jiang Lin to please be sure to honor them with his presence when the time comes. Jiang Lin nervously smiled, saying since they say so, he will definitely attend. Then Butler Fu asked Jiang Lin to let's go, take a look at the spoils because that demon was almost defeated by Jiang Lin alone. So these spoils should rightfully belong to him alone. The first thing Jiang Lin got was Shadowfang's staff of silver quality, and the second thing he got was Demon Cloak of gold quality. This comes with the skill Demon's Eye that can detect stealth units below silver rank. He was happy because it's hard to find a few items like this in the whole Golden City. With this equipment, I don't have to worry about being ambushed in the future. The next thing he got was First Layer Abyss Pass of special quality. It allows entry into the first layer of the Abyss, requiring strength equivalent to or higher than a silver-ranked professional. Next was Abyss Stone of gold quality that can be embedded in equipment to bestow the power of the Abyss, greatly increasing the chance of upgrading the equipment to the gold rank. But Zhang Lin hadn't seen these 2 things before, so he doesn't have any idea about that. Seeing that gemstone, Butler Fu was too shocked, saying, "This is a good thing. Ordinary gemstones can turn trash into treasure, but this gemstone can directly upgrade equipment to the gold rank, making it the best of the best." He said they just need to find a good blacksmith. Well, in Blue Star, apart from those combat specialized professions, there are also many professions specialized in life aspects, such as chefs, alchemists, and blacksmiths. Although they cannot directly fight monsters, they are indispensable logistics personnel in the human camp. Butler Fu told Jiang that it is said that Lin, the steward of the Golden Dragon Treasure Pavilion, knows the best blacksmith in the whole Golden City. He can try his luck there. Jiang Lin thanked Butler Fu for telling him this information, because he happened to be going to the Golden Dragon Treasure Pavilion. Jiang Lin packed his stuff and said bye to Mo Qing and others. After defeating the demon, Jiang bid farewell to Mo Qing and others, and went to the Golden Dragon Pavilion in Rosetown. The receptionist there escorted Jiang to a private room and asked him to wait. Lin, who was also present, was amazed by the VIP room's decorations and wondered about their cost. Suddenly, a man entered the room and said, "A distinguished guest visits, and I, Lin, have failed to greet you from afar." This man was Manager Lin of the Golden Dragon Pavilion. Jiang responded that Manager Lin was too kind and mentioned that he was there to sell some equipment. Hearing this, Manager Lin began the settlement for the 6 bronze pieces of equipment, 3 of which were below level 20, as well as the black iron level equipment. Manager Lin calculated their total value at 25 million. Regarding the skill book, Shadow Stealth, and the silver equipment, the Gale Bow, Manager Lin said he couldn't provide an estimated price at the moment, and suggested that Jiang consider trading them for something else. The receptionist was surprised by the magnitude of the transaction, as it was the first time she had seen such a large deal. Jiang thanked Manager Lin and asked for his assistance in listing the items for barter. Jiang expressed interest in skill books or equipment suitable for a mage and asked to trade the 2 items. He also requested a bronze-level promotion orb and asked Manager Lin to deduct the cost from the total. Manager Lin agreed and asked Jiang to wait while he instructed the receptionist to retrieve the items. After finalizing the deal, Manager Lin inquired about how to address Jiang, who replied that he could call him Jiang Li. While enjoying tea, Manager Lin remarked on Jiang's remarkable progress, having reached such a level just 2 days after awakening, an unheard-of feat in Jin City. Surprised, Jiang asked how Manager Lin knew this, to which he replied that the Golden Dragon Pavilion's internal intelligence was very accurate, and that, as long as one had money, they could find out anything. Jiang then inquired if Manager Lin could help him find a blacksmith to set a gemstone. Manager Lin mentioned that he knew a master blacksmith, Master Wang Yun, who was currently in Jin City. While they were discussing this, the receptionist presented Jiang with a barter list and handed him a golden card, indicating that his recent transaction had earned him a purple gold dragon card, which would give him a 10% discount on future purchases at the Golden Dragon Pavilion. She also presented the bronze-level promotion orb Jiang had requested, now discounted. Manager Lin charged Jiang 16 million for the orb, considering it a gesture of friendship. Jiang was amazed, knowing the market price was 20 million. Even with the card's discount, it would have been 18 million. Grateful for the additional savings, Jiang assured Manager Lin that he would be the first person he thought of for any future sales. Manager Lin then provided information about Master Wang Yun, suggesting Jiang visit him at the Wenxiang courtyard in the east and mention his referral. Jiang thanked Manager Lin and acknowledged that the fee for the information would follow the pavilion's rules, but Manager Lin dismissed it as a minor matter. The next day, Jiang headed to the Wenxiang courtyard, but 2 bodyguards stopped him, saying the master had ordered that no one be allowed inside. However, Jiang, determined as ever, took out the gold-grade abyss stone and told the bodyguards that he needed Master Wang Yun's help to set the gemstone. He added that Manager Lin from the Golden Dragon Pavilion referred him. Hearing this, the blacksmith inside asked his bodyguard to let Jiang in. Blacksmith Wang laughed and asked Jiang if he was Jiang Li, expressing his surprise that the old fox, Lin Dafu, had referred someone to him. Then, Jiang showed the abyss stone to Blacksmith Wang, saying, "I have heard that Master Wang is the best blacksmith in Jin City. Seeing you today, your reputation is well deserved." Blacksmith Wang told him not to bother with formalities and asked Jiang which gemstone he wanted to set. When Blacksmith Wang saw Jiang's gold-level gemstone, he was amazed. He called Jiang Kid and told him that even a gold-level blacksmith rarely gets to handle gold-level equipment or props. He praised Jiang, saying, "You've got some skills," but he warned that the chance of directly setting the gemstone failing was quite high, and that Jiang needed to be prepared for failure. Disappointed to hear this, Jiang listened as Blacksmith Wang proposed a deal. He explained that he had a work nearing completion, but it lacked an important material, the tooth of a thunder crocodile leader. This material would not only allow him to complete the work, but it would also increase the success rate of setting the gemstone. Hearing this, Jiang asked if Blacksmith Wang wanted him to find the material. Blacksmith Wang explained that the thunder crocodile leader was very cunning, hiding deep in the thunder marsh and eluding any high-level professional above the black iron level. He told Jiang that if he couldn't find it, he wouldn't force him. Jiang told Blacksmith Wang that if it could increase the success rate of setting, then of course he would give it a try. Jiang set off right away, telling Blacksmith Wang to wait here for his good news. Then, Jiang left to hunt the thunder crocodile leader but was stopped by some people. The leader of those people, a bold guy, asked Jiang if he had seen a young warrior, about 25 years old, roughly 1.80 meters in height, a young man with piercing triangular eyes and a fierce warrior's spirit. From their description, Jiang understood that they were talking about the bandits who attacked Vivi and were killed by Jiang. Jiang said no and tried to leave, but the bold-headed guy stopped him again. He looked at Jiang while making a scary face and said, "The person I just mentioned was killed. Evidence suggests a mage did it. You're a mage too, right? If you're hiding something, the Blood Wolf mercenary group will show you the meaning of cruelty." But Jiang wasn't scared and replied, "No means no." After saying that, he left. The bold-headed guy got very angry at Jiang. He said, "Such arrogance needs to taste some bitterness," and decided to teach Jiang a lesson. Meanwhile, when Leon was heading towards the hunting ground, he overheard 2 people talking. One guy pointed at the bold-headed guy and said, "That was Chen Dong, the deputy leader of the Blood Wolf mercenary group. I heard their leader's youngest son was killed, died a terrible death." He added that the Blood Wolf mercenary group has always been domineering, and sooner or later, someone will put them in their place. But the other guy covered the first guy's mouth, saying, "Do you have a death wish? Their leader is a high-ranking bronze professional. There are plenty of bronze professionals in the mercenary group as well. If they hear you, you're in for it," he warned. Hearing this, Jiang realized that he seemed to have stirred up some trouble. After that, he went to the Thundering Marsh, where the Thunder Crocodile leader resided. Upon arriving, Jiang used his max-level Rain of Fire spell. Tens of fireballs fell on the marsh, killing many monsters, many of which burned to death after being hit by Zhang's spell. Impressed by the damage his spell had caused, Zhang noted that it was truly a black iron-level magic. He was pleased to see such extensive area damage, which was clearing monsters more efficiently than Arcane Bolt. Suddenly, he sensed someone's presence behind a bush and realized he was being followed. Zhang's demon's eye was activated, and he tried to see who was following him. The one hiding was an assassin. Now, Zhang was curious to see what this was all about. Suddenly, there were some movements in the water. Jiang saw a LV-29 green-veined serpent king emerging from the water. He was slightly disappointed that it wasn't the thunder crocodile leader. Jiang sighed, acknowledging that thunder crocodile leaders are not so easy to encounter. Suddenly, the green-veined serpent king attacked Jiang. He moved to his left and dodged the attack. While Jiang was busy fighting the green-veined serpent king, the assassin hiding behind the bush took out his dagger to attack from behind. Jiang noticed this and called out to the assassin to stop hiding and come out. The assassin was surprised, but suddenly those guys from the Bloodwolf mercenary group appeared. Seeing Jiang, they laughed, saying, "Finally found you, you little runt, and an elite monster too. What a stroke of luck." The bold-headed guy blamed Jiang, accusing him of killing their leader's young son, and declared it unforgivable. Jiang asked the bold-headed guy if he had any proof. Then, the bold-headed guy showed Jiang his hammer, saying, "Who asked you to mess with me? If I say you killed the person, then you killed the person." Hearing that, Jiang remarked, "How convenient," and cast the ice spear spell. But while Jiang's attention was on the bold-headed guy, the green-veined serpent king came up behind him. Jiang sensed him and shot his max-level spears at the green-veined serpent king. Jiang's ice spear pierced the green-veined serpent king's body, instantly killing him. Seeing this, hunters from the Bloodwolf mercenary group were too shocked and scared, asking what just happened. The bold-headed guy couldn't believe that Jiang had one-shotted a level 29 elite monster. After killing the green-veined serpent king, Jiang admitted that he had killed their young master. Hearing that, the hunters from the Bloodwolf mercenary group were even more shocked. Then, Jiang cast his max-level fireball spell, saying, "This information will have to remain your permanent secret." Jiang angrily created a max-level fireball and hurled it directly at the hunters of the Bloodwolf mercenary group. All the hunters were engulfed in flames, though the bald-headed guy managed to escape, albeit with his back severely burned. Realizing the disaster unfolding, he thought they were all doomed. He immediately fell to his knees before Jiang and pleaded, "Big brother, we were blind to your greatness. We'll give you everything we have. It's worth a good sum of money. Please, spare us a way to live." Although he spoke these words, inside he was seething with anger, thinking, how can this kid be so formidable? Did he just say he killed the young master? We must hurry back and report to the boss. When Jiang heard the bald man's offer, he asked where they had obtained such fine items. The bald man explained that they had captured a couple of silver-ranked individuals. Their family had paid a handsome ransom for their release, but the man resisted, so they killed him. He added, "This bronze-ranked garment I'm wearing was his, and that woman, though pregnant, was quite the beauty. It's a pity she chose death over submission, joining her husband." Hearing this, Jiang became very angry and declared, "Indeed, you all deserve death." After some time, Jiang called Manager Lin, who answered the phone with, "Golden Dragon Pavilion at your service. What do you require?" Jiang addressed Manager Lin as brother, saying, "Brother Lin, it's me." Surprised by Jiang's call, Manager Lin inquired about the gem-setting progress. Jiang replied that it was going smoothly, but he had a different reason for calling this time. He asked, "Brother Lin, could I ask for your help with something? Could you check on some information about the Bloodwolf mercenary group? I will pay the usual fee, the faster the better." Well aware that Jiang had killed all the hunters from the Bloodwolf mercenary group, Manager Lin was shocked and asked if Jiang was referring to that group. Jiang nodded. Manager Lin responded, "All right, just a moment. I'll arrange for someone to look into it right away." He advised Jiang, "No matter what issues you have with that mercenary group, you mustn't be rash." Jiang explained that he had been ambushed by them in the wilderness just now, but fortunately, he was one step ahead and dealt with them. He mentioned that the group's leader seemed to be named Chen Dong. Manager Lin acknowledged having some knowledge of him. Chen Dong is the deputy head of the Snow Wolf mercenary group and is a bronze-level professional. Manager Lin hadn't expected Chen Dong to fall into Jiang's hands and warned that the Bloodwolf mercenary group certainly wouldn't let this go. He asked Jiang about his plans. Jiang responded, "I've heard that the strongest in their group is only at the peak of bronze. If that's the case, I still have some confidence. I just fear involving those close to me, so I want to take the initiative." Hearing this, Manager Lin laughed, saying, Brother Jiang truly is a man of deep loyalty and righteousness. He informed Jiang that aside from Chen Dong, there are 6 bronze-level professionals, and the rest are all above black iron level. They rarely act separately. Chen Dong specifically came to investigate the killing of the boss's youngest son, which is why Jiang caught a break. Even for Jiang, it's currently difficult to face so many bronze-level professionals at once. Jiang agrees with Manager Lin that it is indeed difficult. Manager Lin told Jiang that the strongest among them is the boss, Li Xiaotian, a level 39 Greystone Knight known for his defensive prowess. Manager Lin advised Jiang not to engage in a war of attrition with him. He added that since the matter with Chen Dong hasn't spread yet, their entire group should still be in the Blackstone Mountains, so Jiang still has time. Jiang asked Manager Lin what they are doing in the Blackstone Mountains. Manager Lin told Jiang that at first, he thought they were there to subdue a boss, but after investigation, it turns out they were entrusted by the Wang family. Jiang was shocked to hear the Wang family's name, asking Manager Lin if he was talking about the 4 great Wang families of Jincheng. Manager Lin told Jiang not to worry, explaining that the Wang family and Blood Wolf mercenary group have just a normal commission relationship. Currently, the Blood Wolf mercenary group hasn't allied with any power, because the eldest son of the Wang family, Wang Jinyan, has awakened as a star beastmaster. So, the Wang family has spent a fortune commissioning several mercenary groups to find Earth Dragon eggs. After explaining everything to Jiang, Manager Lin said that since Brother Jiang wishes to oppose the Blood Wolf mercenary group, he also wants to lend a hand. He asked Jiang to come to him first. Jiang said all right and went to meet Manager Lin. Manager Lin took Jiang to the Golden Dragon Pavilion fusion chamber. He said, "Brother Jiang, you must be proficient in many spells, but everyone's skill slots are limited. Some low-level spells are naturally phased out over time. Therefore, the Golden Dragon Pavilion has established this fusion chamber. Here, mages can fuse spells they've learned to acquire new spells." But he added that the spells obtained through fusion cannot be fused a second time. Manager Lin asked Jiang to place his hand on the book that the statue was holding. When Jiang placed his hand, the system started reading his spells. Manager Lin asked Jiang to try fusing the most basic Fireball and Arc spells first. The system confirmed Jiang's D-level spell, Fireball, and D-level spell, Arc Lightning. Then, a purple light came out of the statue, and Jiang got a system notification saying, "Congratulations on learning a new skill, D+ level spell Lightning Ball." Jiang was amazed to see that new spells could be obtained in this way, although it's somewhat similar to the effect of using 2 spells at once before. This saves a lot of skill slots. Jiang thanked Manager Lin for the information and the cost of spell fusion. Jiang said he would offset the cost with the equipment he just bought, and if it wasn't enough, he would make up the difference. Additionally, he mentioned that he had another matter to discuss. Manager Lin asked Jiang what the matter was. Jiang laughed and said, "To be honest, setting a gold-level gemstone is tricky. Even Master Wang doesn't dare guarantee the success rate of setting it. However, the master pointed me to a solution. He said the teeth of the Thunder Crocodile leader could improve the setting success rate, but that boss is really cunning. It's been quite a while, and not even a shadow has been seen." Hearing this, Manager Lin laughed too, and told Jiang that he had already prepared for him. He ordered the receptionist to take out the item, a purple-colored bait. Manager Lin told Jiang that this bait could lure out the Thunder Crocodile leader. Originally, Master Wang had asked Manager Lin to find it, but since Master Wang had already advanced to gold level, even with this bait, that boss probably wouldn't show up. Since Master Wang now entrusted it to Jiang, this item was most suitable for him. Jiang took the bait, saying, "Brother Lin, you're truly a lifesaver in a snowstorm." He asked Manager Lin for the cost of this bait. Manager Lin told Jiang that the equipment he just brought completely offsets all expenses, and there's even a surplus left over. Jiang was happy to get the bait, and Manager Lin wished him success. Then Jiang went again to the Thunder Marsh, where the Thunder Crocodile leader resides. He threw the purple bait into the water, and waited for the Thunder Crocodile leader to take the bait. Within a few minutes, some bubbles started to come out of the water, and suddenly a strong thunder strike emerged. Jiang was happy to see the thunder strike, saying, "Finally, it has appeared." Just as he said that, the level 33 boss, the Thunder Crocodile leader, emerged from the water. Jiang aimed his staff at the monster while calling it a cunning crocodile.